COVID-19, this Chinese virus. Dr. Fauci very much was involved in funding the gain-of-function research. This is a virus that has been made. It's a man-made virus, and the proof is coming out more and more. There was a hearing today in the Senate, and I went and listened to the hearing, and I've watched a lot of the video from the hearing, and we are finding out, and it's becoming conclusive, and I think we need to see China share more information with us about COVID-19, but this very much looks to be what we would call a bioweapon. Otherwise, why would we have Dr. Fauci funding gain of function, which takes a virus that's spread from animal to animal and then turns it into a virus that can be spread from human to human? That's what a bioweapon is. And now it has sickened the countries all over the world and killed so many people. Yet Dr. Fauci is sitting up on the grand stage and being treated as if he's some sort of hero, when in fact he played a part in funding COVID-19, and then he lied to us over and over and over. You can look back in 2020, early in the year, where he is saying on CNN that COVID-19 is going to kill millions and millions of Americans. And this is exactly how he was advising President Trump. Millions of Americans are going to die. But yet in his personal emails, he was stating that it was going to be several 100,000 people. You see, you can't say one thing in private and then advise differently in public. Do you know where this happens in the world, everyone? Communist China. When China doesn't like someone, when they don't like what they're saying, they don't like their political beliefs, and they don't agree with them, they silence them. And you know, that's what happened on Twitter. Acting like corporate communists. When we have social media platforms, when we have any kind of organization that is silencing our voices simply because they don't agree or they don't like it and they don't like the discussion, that's a violation of our First Amendment, our free speech. Conservatives are banned, censored, and kicked off of social media every single day. Our former president, President Trump, is banned from social media everywhere because no one wants to hear his voice in the social media circles. Big tech does not like what President Trump has to say. So here we are in a place where it's getting out of control. Should people sue Twitter because they're banning my voice? You see, it's a hypocrisy. And these are the things that we can't allow to stand. I will not stop speaking. I will not stop tweeting. I will not stop posting. I will not stop asking questions. Because if you have members of Congress that aren't asking questions, then I don't know what kind of country we're going to have. But yet he is still running the show as if he is center stage. And that is a problem. You see, in the private world, when people lie and they mislead people in their jobs, they get fired. All of you are members of the press and you work for media companies, and if you were to lie on the job and you were to mislead people or you were to do something wrong, and someone might argue and say you do mislead people, but your company would fire you. However, here we are, we have Dr. Anthony Fauci that just continues to keep doing his job and saying whatever he wants, but yet he funded to the Wuhan lab the gain-of-function research that allowed COVID-19 to become what it is, to kill people. And I think he needs to be fired. And so do millions and millions of Americans. And I think it's perfectly fine to talk about this on social media. After all, that's what social media started as, a place for people to meet, to communicate, to share thoughts and ideas. And there's nothing wrong with it. On the CDC website, Tia, and I really hope you look it up.
I looked it up.
It says
that
right
people
here.
died after the vaccine, but not necessarily
Right.
that the
It says
vaccine
during this
caused
time,
it.
VAERS received 12,313 reports of death among people who received a COVID-19
But
vaccine.
that doesn't mean the vaccine caused it.
But it may
Representative
mean that it caused it. We don't know, and I think this needs to be investigated. I
But
think
you-
it's important to investigate it, don't you?
The
Don't we
question
want to
is-
know the truth?
The question
As
is.
a
but
journalist, you
it-
definitely want to know the truth, right? So you can report that, because after all, you're reporting a lot of information, which means what you report makes you responsible as well.
And the
Wouldn't it be
question-
appropriate for us to investigate these 12,000 deaths and find out, did the vaccine cause their death? What else caused their death? What exactly happened there before the FDA approves this vaccine? It was a miracle for them to come up with a vaccine in such a short amount of time. But what I am saying is it shouldn't be forced. It shouldn't be mandated. Information needs to be found out. There are reports of side effects. There are obviously reports of deaths. And I think these are important things to check out before it's FDA approved. But here we have colleges requiring students to be vaccinated before students can return to college. I mean, we just had this young lady that lost her scholarship. I believe it was $200,000 scholarship over at Brigham Young, and she's losing her scholarship because she doesn't want to get the vaccine, and her doctor said it would put her in high risk because of a medical condition that she currently has. There was a 13-year-old boy in Michigan that just recently died after taking the vaccine. You see, there's a lot of things happening, and I think it's important for us to analyze all of it before governments and schools and businesses say, absolutely, you have to take this vaccine. It shouldn't be mandated, and people shouldn't be treated wrongly or judged harshly because they are just saying, I don't want to take the vaccine. It should be people's choice. I just think it should be their choice. I just think we're going down a really bad road when we're telling people you have to do this, and if you don't do it, you're excluded. You're treated like a second-class citizen. You're not allowed on campus. You're going to be fired from your job. We're not going to let you in church because you refuse to take this FDA-approved vaccine. I just think that's the wrong place for us to go as Americans.
Well, there are a lot of other.
This is an extraordinary times.
Right.
I don't want to criticize anyone's judgment there. This is certainly a pandemic we've never had before. And it's also a virus that was developed, unfortunately, through our tax dollars, through Dr. Fauci, and made in a Wuhan lab. And the purpose of it seems to be a bioweapon. Now, the questions I think we should be asking is not only like we need to analyze the side effects and why are these deaths being reported, we also need to ask China a lot of questions. I certainly would not allow Chinese businesses to function inside of our country if they're loyal to the CCP. And I would demand for China to tell us what is the protocol that you've developed when it comes down to COVID-19. And then secondly, China, how many other bioweapons do you have? What are they? And what are you planning to do with them? See, I think these are the questions all of us should be asking because China really is our common enemy. And we should look at China very much through those eyes, and at least through Republicans and Democrats. I would hope to God we can come together on
Given
that.
that, you don't.
Well, China's long-term goal is they want to be the #1 country in the world. They want to dominate us economically. They want to dominate our military. They want to dominate us in every single way. And that is what they're trying to do.
Right.
And if America, if our government, if all of us together don't get serious about who China is and what their goals are, then we're the fools, aren't we? And we really would be foolish to ignore this great threat. And so in my eyes, I think, I take people at their word. China seriously wants to dominate the entire world. When Joe Biden is talking about adapting the Green New Deal and moving towards those policies and saying we're going to cut down our carbon emissions down to net zero, do you know what China is saying? They're saying they're going to increase their carbon emissions. You want to know why? Because they want to grow their economy much bigger than ours. That is a very foolish road for us to go down. And so my encouragement is to everyone, Republicans, Democrats, all of us Americans, we seriously need to take a hard look at China and get on the same page and stop this threat. That how many other bioweapons are there? what other things would they do? What links would they go to dominate the entire world? Investigations,
saying-
and we need to tell China, look, we need to tell them, if you do not come clean and tell the truth and tell the entire world what happened with this, then America is responsible to have some sort of, tariffs are a great way to deal with China. They care about money and business. They want their students in our country. Send them back. Send these people back out of our colleges. Stop them. We should stop their ability to fund our universities. We should put rules in place to protect our country until China is willing to be honest and truthful. So if our dealings with China and any other country in the world is that we just lay down and let them do whatever they want, well, I don't think we're going to be able to handle that very well. It's just not a good way. It's not good policy. Okay, so is it right for him to flip and flop and say different things all the time? Is that right? But yet he's still the head guy and the one everybody's listening to. So let me just say this. Tony Fauci, I don't know if he has a Twitter page. I don't even look. Has he ever been suspended or banned on Twitter for flipping and flopping and giving different information? What about the fact that he's lied and it's proven in his emails? Has everyone got him saying, you know, we can't have you on social media. We can't put you on the news. You shouldn't be on CNN. You shouldn't be in the AJC. You shouldn't be anywhere because you lied, Dr. Fauci. We don't see that, do we? No. And we also have to remember, we're talking about a virus that I think it's nearly around 99% of people survive it. And so this, thank God for that, right? So what I'm saying is, it's not wrong to say it should be people's choice. And it doesn't make someone a bad person because they don't want to take the vaccine. It doesn't make them a bad person because they don't want to wear a mask. And they're not responsible for other people's health. Because when we start going down that road, then where does it end? That means if we say people are responsible for spreading COVID-19, then we're saying people are responsible for spreading every kind of germ there is. And that's an impossibility. We can't live in a world where we are actually blaming people for causing anyone else to get sick. We've never lived that way in any time of history that I know of. And I think that's dangerous. See something about COVID-19. I believe in people's own individual responsibility to read, to find out, and to make their own decision.
Do you believe in science, though?
I believe in God. And of course, there is science. I don't worship science or think that science rules everything. I believe that God rules everything. There's reported side effects and there's reports of death, and I'm saying those should be investigated. But I'm also caring about our individual rights, and we as Americans